Hi everybody. I'm doing some odds and ends today. I hope you can hear me. My neighbor's mowing, so I'll try and talk a little bit louder. My friend sent me a link to a pair of shoes on Etsy, and I thought, oh, how cute is that? So last night I tried to put a pair together, and I cut a piece of my red vinyl placemat in the in the sole shape, and then I cut it the same shape out in the floor tile. So I took my roll of ribbon and I measured across the toe area of the doll shoe. Once I had that in there, I glued them down, and then I took, if you have two of the same color of headbands, go ahead and use these, but make sure they're the big ones that will go from the heel to the toe area. If you don't have these ones, you can use the big ones, but and the loose the elastic, but you're going to have to sew them together. Once I cut these in half and then I sewed them together. Because this outer coat is so thin it will fray on you, so I sewed actually through the elastic to hold it together. If you don't sew through the elastic on both end pieces, it's going to end up, it won't stay together, it'll come apart on you. So I sewed through the elastic, and then I actually also even glued, I put the glue in the ribbon and glued those two pieces together to give it a little extra support. You won't need it if you use the regular, keep the metal in here, and you won't need to use the, you won't need to sew your elastic together. Okay, so once I had that done, I took my ribbon and my elastic, and then I made a, gosh, I'm tongue-tied today. I just made a loop and pulled it through like this and made it tight. Can't talk. I don't know why. But anyway, this is going to be on the shoe, so your ribbon's going to stay in line where it's supposed to be. It's your choice whether you put the knot on the top or whether you put it this way and have the knot underneath. My only suggestion is to do both shoes the same way so it looks like a pair. You wouldn't want the knot to be on the top on one of the shoes like this and then be the opposite way on the other. So just make sure they're both the same way. Okay, so once I had my fabric glued down, I put my elastic headband in there, ponytail holder, that's what I'm trying to say, and then run about, it's probably about an inch, and I don't have my ruler, but it's at least a good, check it on your doll's foot. It's probably an inch and a quarter, but just make sure it fits your doll's foot well. And and that's what you're looking for. So I used white glue to put my two together, and it's not strong enough, so I'm going to have to peel these apart and put a stronger glue in there. But that's what you're looking for. So it's very simple. Two ponytail holders and a little bit of ribbon, and then whatever you're going to use for your soles. You're going to have a top sole and a bottom sole. So you can go with the, like I said, the vinyl placemat works fine. Your foam will work fine. You can use just two pieces of your floor tile and put them back to back. And when you're done, you can paint this. You can shine it up with some decoupage finish. You can take any of your 1/8 of an inch ribbons, and you can you can glue ribbon down on the top of it here and cover up your entire seam if that's what you want to do. It's just totally up to you, whatever you like. I'm probably just going to re-glue these with a different glue, and then I'm going to put a coat of decoupage finish on here and give it a nice shine, and that'll shine everything up. As long as I can get whatever glue, I'm probably going to end up using the Amazing Goop from Walmart. That seems to work good when, you know, when I'm dealing with these placemat top soles. Okay, so then once I did the shoes, I thought, well, you know, it'd be really cute if you had a matching belt. So I went and I got out I was at Hobby Lobby a couple weeks ago, and I found these. They were in the spare parts, and all the spare parts were 50% off. So I bought 2 sets of these, and they're regularly $2.99. So I got them for $1.50. So they equal to be about a quarter a piece, which isn't a bad deal. And I tried making them with a couple different methods. This was my first one that I made, and I realized that the inside of these are just cheap plastic. They look like they're really expensive, but they're not. They're just cheap plastic. And they have little grooves on the top, so if you, excuse me, if you want to fill those with glitter, you can put like pink glitter in there and make them a pink glittery, or you can take like beads. You can glue beads all the way around. You can paint these any color you want. You can just spray paint them. You can do anything with them. They're just, like I said, just plastic. There's no beads or anything in there. So anyway, this was my first attempt, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have to, I cut my fabric and I turned it inside out. This was probably maybe 14 inches. It was 14 inches by 2.5. And then I had a 1/4 of an inch seam, and I just turned it inside out. And then I stitched it by hand instead of my machine, thinking that I couldn't get close enough to this piece. And that's how I did it. So I took one end that was already finished off, ran it through one side of the slider, through the other side of the slider, and then I just sewed it on the sewing machine. As close as I could get without hitting that piece of, well, I didn't do it that way, obviously. I put the front in the right spot. But you could use that either. You could do that too. It wouldn't matter really. Either side. You get more of a shine on this side, and this is the side it's supposed to be. But anyway, that's how I did that one. So this was my first heart. So then I didn't really like the way this was bunching up, but you know, that's a look you might want, because if you want a really wide belt, you're going to get that little bunching up, like on a regular belt. It's basically the same thing, a regular belt. Okay, here's Kyla. I made a belt for this dress. In this case, though, I instead of hand sewing it, I sewed it by the machine, so I just went back and forth a few times. And I even could have got it closer, but you know, it's fine. Even that's an inch away from the shaft that goes through, so that's fine. And in this case, I did a little circular shape on this, and I top stitched this belt that I hadn't done on the other one. So I top stitched it all the way around, so it gave it a really nice finish. I have no line. I don't have any. I tried putting not lining, but interfacing in these, and it was just too thick for these doll belts, so I decided not to put the interfacing in, and I'm just going with the fabric. And then I was reading some blogs, and one of the ladies on one of the blogs said, don't waste all of your sliders on one color belt when you can make a whole bunch of belts and reuse your sliders with different color belts. And I thought, well, how did she do that? Well, what she did was she took, this is just a ribbon, she took her snaps. These are 3/8 of an inch snaps, and you can get them at any of the fabric stores. And she made her belts to have a snap on them, so she can just put the snaps through the sliders and snap them closed, and she can use the same slider for all different colors of ribbons and fabrics, so she doesn't have to worry about buying a whole bunch of these. because she can just snap her fabrics or her ribbons onto the back of the belt and make her own variety. Okay, one thing I found out, I'll tell you in a minute. Let me put this on Dana. Doesn't matter which way you go. You can be right-handed or left-handed. It doesn't matter. And you're going to want to use your heat seal these ribbons or sew them down, something to keep them in the from fraying when you're taking them on and off the doll. So anyway, this is one thing I found. The ribbon is a little on the lightweight side, so you might want to. I made this too long, but in case you want to tuck it in or make a bow or whatever, I'm going to cut that off and cut it down. But anyway, that's your idea. So even though you may only have one slider, you can have 50 different belts to go with that one slider. So that was the, I'm going to show you how I did that. And one thing you want to remember when you're using your snaps is give yourself a little tail to hold on to, because I didn't do that. I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to take this snap and go all the way to the end, and I used my lighter and I burned that all the way down to the snap, and that was the wrong thing to do. So I pretty much wasted this belt, and I wasted this snap too, and they're not that cheap. But anyway, it still works. I could still get it on and off, but what I should have done was given myself a fold over on the elastic, on the ribbon like this, and then put my female piece there, and then I would have had a tab to pull on and off instead of the way I did it. But anyway, now you know. Don't do it like I did it. And always put your female piece first. This is your male piece. The one with the prong on it is your male piece, and your female piece is the flat one. I did the male piece first, and it wouldn't fit through. The male piece won't fit through some of these sliders. It's just too wide. I tried to get it through, I think it was the circular piece, and I couldn't get it through. It'll work on the bigger ones, but you know, why bother? Don't chance it. Just go with the female piece to get through these small sliders. It goes first, so it works really well. Okay, I've been working with the elastic thread, and I thought, well, if you can make dresses out of the elastic thread, why can't you make skirts? So I made up this, I have a bunch of this Halloween fabric, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try it on a skirt. So I got the skirt done, and I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to try adding some fun fur to it. So I got out my fun fur. I didn't have any black fun fur, so I got my blue, because there's a lot of blue in this, with the blue sky and everything. So I thought, okay, well, that might be all right. So I went around and I sewed this down, like, I don't know, maybe 5 times with a little zigzag stitch all the way around it. I just put the fur as close as I could to the next. You don't have to use fun fur. You can use any type of yarn will work, but I kind of wanted this look on the doll with all of the fur. So I got my 5 rows in. I did 4 and it wasn't enough, so then I went back and I got my brush and I started brushing this out to try and get the fun fur away from all of the zigzag sewing that I did to give it a nice little look. And I think it turned out cute. So you can make some really cute outfits with just skirts with the elastic thread. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did 7 rows of elastic thread. I was also reading some other blogs, and my friend sent me an email. She said she watched somebody with this elastic thread, and she just sprayed it with a spray bottle, a spritzer, and the elastic shrunk right up. I also read that if you put this in the washer and dryer, the elastic will all shrink on you. Another lady said that you can steam it with a steam iron and the elastic will shrink. So if you're pulling it like I told you to and then making your knots in them, just make sure that you don't pull it so tight that you're not going to be able to use the outfit once the elastic shrinks up in the washer, or if it gets wet for a reason. But anyway, this was I haven't finished this, but this was the blouse that goes with the skirt, and it's going to be really cute when it's on the doll. I just have to tuck these in and put some Velcro in the back. This was a simplicity pattern, so is it simplicity or McCall? I don't know. I'll find out for you. But it's a really cute little blouse, and it looks cute on the doll. So I thought, you know, I could take this black ribbon, and I could make a black belt to go with this, and actually have it hang down like that with the sliders. And I thought, well, that would be cute, because this will be tucked under, of course. And then this one will, I can make it longer and let it hang a little bit like that. So it's all what you want to do. It's you know, it's totally up to you. But there's just so many things you can do with these doll clothes and doll accessories. I know on my last video I told you that I was going to show you how to make different types of sleeves for the doll sundresses. So this was the first one I did. What I did is this was where I put it in the, this dress is the one I put in the microwave and tried to curl it, and I didn't like the way the hem curled, so I cut the sewing line. I cut the line of sewing fishing line off of the bottom, and I took a strip of red fabric and I just turned it under 1/4 of an inch on each side, sewed it, and then I put the elastic sewing thread, this, underneath, and then I got it as ruffled as I wanted it on the bottom of the dress, and then I sewed it together, and then I actually sewed it down onto the dress itself. You can go back and take out that elastic thread if you want to, or you can just leave it there, it doesn't matter, but it's an easy way to ruffle your dresses with your sewing machine. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try my baseball cap as a cap instead of a baseball hat. So what I did was I hope you can see this. I just made the cap, and thinking I could just put a little bar pin on it. But it looks so plain on the doll, so I ended up having to put a ruffle on that also. So I came back and I took the same red ruffle effect, and I put it around the doll's hat. And so instead of making this a permanent fixture on the doll's hat, I just made a little bar pin and put that down so I could use that bar pin on to accessorize other dresses or other things as I want to. But anyway, that's the baseball cap with, and I used the same method. I just used the elastic thread. So same thing, if you want, you can just take that off, because there is still that little elastic that goes across for the baseball cap. So that's another effect you can do. And let me put her belt back on. When you're dealing with the heart-shaped one, there's only one way, of course, to put the belt on, otherwise the heart will be upside down. So I did the same thing on these sleeves. I used the elastic thread. I did it the same way as I did the bottom and the baseball hat, and I just took it and sewed it down. I just made it. You have to keep the elastic in these ones, of course. If you take the elastic out, you won't have any sleeves. So basically that's all I did, was I just attached the sleeves in the front and the back. And this is the one hat that has the three lines of elastic on the top and 3 lines on the waist, and then just the bottom of the elastic. Okay, this is Kyla. I haven't finished her dress. I haven't finished her sundress yet. For her sleeves, I just used regular elastic, and I just sewed them together with my sewing machine, and I encased the elastic, and that's all it is. It's just a piece of fabric sewed together with 1/4 inch elastic in the inside, and I just did that from edge to edge instead of using the elastic thread. I haven't finished it. Okay, so then I thought, well, how can I make this look really cute? So I got out my this fabric, and I made just a square, I think it was like, I don't know, 10 inches by 4 inches or 3 inches. 3 inches, 3.5 inches. It was 3.5 inches by, I don't know, maybe 10 inches, something like that. Anyway, I turned them inside out, sewed them together, and then I put 2 rows of the elastic thread in here. And I thought, well, these would be really cute sleeves on the sundress. So what I did was, I haven't put them on yet, but you have a couple ways you can sew them. You can just bring them up under the arm, and you can either put this in the inside so you don't see it like that, or you can put them on the outside. I don't think it's going to matter. Or you can sew them together and tuck them in. That's another option. You can keep them off of the arm like that, or you can actually sew them up close to the other, I haven't decided yet, that's why I haven't put the sleeves in. Or you can put them right up and attach them to the red part. Or you can keep the red part off altogether. It's just totally up to you how you want to make those sleeves. But that's another option for sleeves on these sundresses. Gives you a really pretty cute look on them, I think. But like I said, you can sew them a couple different ways. It's however you want to sew them on. You can leave them like that, or like I said, you can attach them to the top and make a I don't know what you want to call it, puff sleeve or something. So you can get that look, which I don't really fond of. I let it go with that look. But anyway, I dropped her hat. So for her hat, I made a what do you call these things? A floppy hat. And I added, it was so plain, so I just gave her hat. And then I made a little headband, sort of, to give her a little extra look on that hat. I can't give this pattern out because it's not mine. It's we've got one. It's only got 5 diamonds in it, and the baseball hat has 6. And this one has the brim on it, the floppy brim. It's a Berta pattern, 8308. This is an old pattern. I bought it at the Goodwill for 25 cents. But if you can find it, it's got some really cute overalls in it, a sundress. That's where the sundress pattern I used, and it's got the backpack in it. But it's 8308, and it's a Berta, and that's where this hat came from. So that's this is going to be, when this is done. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is the fishing line. And I did this with a zigzag. I laid my fishing line on my ironing board, and I pinned it down in a zigzag fashion, and sewed it on, and it actually sewed on and gives you that zigzag effect. I used my heat gun. I didn't put it in the microwave because obviously it wouldn't fit in the microwave. I'll do a video probably on this one. But yeah, that's the, instead of the circular on the piece of wooden dowel, this was a zigzag up and down. And it looks really cute on this doll. but that's another option on the sundresses as far as that goes. Okay, so that's that. Okay, I was going to show you how to put in the snaps. Okay, so I'm going to take my black ribbon. I don't know what time I'm at. Okay, but here I'm going to give myself a little tag, so I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to seal it with my, however you're going to seal it. You can use the glue, you can use the fray check, you can use a lighter. How does this work? Okay, so just get it down so that it will not fray no matter what. Okay, it will not fray. Okay, so I'm going to turn this down because I told you you really do need that little tag on there. So I'm going to just put a pin in that till I can get my machine set up. Okay, here's my eyelet maker. It's an eyelet pliers, and it's also a snap pair of pliers. They give you these 2 extra pieces of rubber. It comes in the kit. This is a dritz. It depends on where you are in the country. It might be it might be called a sewing basket, or it might be called a dritz. They have different varieties, different makers, so just find one. They are all pretty much the same. Okay, so I'm going to take my this bottom here. You lift it up, and it turns. One side is the eyelet, and the other side is the snap. So we're doing the snap side, so that's this side. So I'm going to put my piece of rubber on here. The only reason you're using the rubber is to hold them in place so you can squeeze, and they don't fall out. Okay, so I got it on there. They're both on there. Okay, so I'm going to take my instructions, and it'll show you a picture, and it'll tell you which goes where. So these with the sharp points on them, these are called the prongs. And on both the male and the female part, the prong is in different locations. So you might have it on the bottom for the female, and you're going to have it on the top for the male. So we're going to do the female first. So our prong is going to go next to the eyelet maker. So we're going to put it in there and make sure it's in there flat, because you want it to squeeze together and be in the right location. Otherwise you're going to have a weird looking snap. Okay, so now we're going to put the female, and the female is going to go on the top by itself. So we're going to take the female. The female piece is the flat piece. I kind of put the raised part to the top. That may be wrong, but it's really hard to tell which is which. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it this way. Okay, this female piece has a little bit of a bigger ridge on the one side that's going to get caught with the male piece. So personally, I don't know if it makes a whole big of a difference whether you go one way or the other way. I don't really think it matters. Either way works, but you know, just decide what you like. So put the female piece in the top and get it around the rubber so it fits in there. And that's going to cause me problems. Alright, let's try it the other way. Doesn't want to do it either way. Okay. It's in there. I don't know if you can see it, but she's in there. Okay, so I got the prong on the top, I got the female in the bottom.